Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 6, entitled as Dhyana Yoga. Sloka 18. Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyeva vatistate nishprah sarva kamebhyo yukta ityuchyate tada. In the first 6 slokas, Krishna emphasized the importance of continuing to perform Karma Yoga, that is Nishkama Karma Yoga, and then 7, 8, 9 about the qualification to start the yoga, and from 10th to 17th sloka, the stage in which Ashtanga Yoga should be practiced, the practicing stage of Ashtanga Yoga, that has been explained. And in the 18th sloka onwards, it's about the perfectional stage of the Ashtanga Yoga, which is being explained or will be explained. Yada, when, Chittam, the mind, Viniyatam, well controlled, Atmani eva, only on the self, Avatistate, becomes situated, Tada, at that time, Sarvakamebhyaha, for all objects of material desires, Nishpraha, he who is free from hankering, Yukta iti, fit to start on yoga, Uchyate, is to be said. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. That's the meaning of this sloka. Chittam, the mind, is controlled. All the material desires are given up, and this person is completely focused on the self. Now, how did that happen to this person? How did he give up the most difficult task of being free from the material desires and bring the consciousness under complete focus? How he was able to do it? The mind usually chases sense objects. That's a default program for the mind. But this yogi becomes aware of the incomparable enjoyment of the self. The pleasure that one gets by having the vision of self cannot be compared to any of the highest pleasure of this world. So he understands this. So he gives up earning for sense enjoyment and gets fixed on the self at this stage. He remains desireless for other action. So in this way, he is able to be completely focused and established in the practices that he is doing. Though this state has already been described in the previous slokas, it is considered advisable to recall it before proceeding to describe the state of being in yoga in upcoming slokas. Also, Srila Prabhupada reveals the secret to control the mind and senses in this purport by quoting verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, that one who has taken up Krishna consciousness automatically attains the stage of becoming free of material desires and able to focus on the Supreme Lord. These are the slokas from the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, comes under the Amrisha Charitram. Savai mana Krishna padhara vindayor vachamsi vaikunta gunanu varnane karo harir mandira marjanadeshu shrutim chakarachuta sat katodaye mukunda lingalaya darshane darsho tat britya katra sparshe anga sangamam granam chatat pada saroja saurabhe Srimat Tulasya Rasanam Tat Arpite Pado Hari Kshetra Padanu Sarpane Shiro Rishikesha Padabhi Vandane Kamam Cha Dasye Natu Kama Kamyaya Etottama Sloka Janasraya Ratihi. These slokas glorifies how King Ambarisha engaged his mind and his senses in service of Krishna and was able to attain the same stage what we have been discussing now in this particular sloka. His mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, his words describing the transcendental qualities of Krishna, his hands in mopping the temple of the Lord Krishna, his ears in hearing of the activities of Krishna, his eyes in seeing the transcendental form of Krishna, his body in touching the bodies of the devotees of Krishna, his sense of smell in smelling the scents of the lotus flowers offered to Krishna, his tongue is tasting the tulasi leaves offered at the lotus feet of Krishna, his legs going towards pilgrimage and temples of Krishna, his head in offering obeisances unto Krishna, and his desires in executing the mission of Krishna. All these transcendental activities, all his senses, his mind, everything is being used in service of Krishna, which made him to be a pure devotee. So the senses and mind requires engagement. Simply stopping them from activities is going to further aggravate them, disturb them. So best is to engage them. Engaging them in the service of the Lord is the best way for one to control the senses and mind. Unless the mind is fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna by constant remembrance, such transcendental engagement or the stage what has been explained here is not practical. In one sense, it is impossible. So what Krishna says here is, he whose mind is free from chasing the sense objects for the sense pleasure, and because he is able to see and compare that what he is going to get by focusing on self is much more higher and cannot be in any way equal to the pleasure that comes from the sense object, is able to control himself, his chitta, his consciousness on the self, being free of desires for the material enjoyment, is said to be fit for practicing yoga. Now in the following sloka, Krishna is going to illustrate that with an example to state the stage of this yogi. Let's see sloka 19. Yata dipo nivatasto lingate sopama smrita yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogamatmanaha. Nivatastha, in a place without wind. Deepayata, how a lamp, na ingate, does not waver. Sa, same way. Yata chittasya, whose mind is controlled. Yoginaha, of the yogi. Yogam unjatha, constantly engaged in meditation. Atmanaha, to the self. Upama, as an example. Smrita is given by the sages. The translation of this is, as a lamp in a windless place does not waver or flicker. To the transcendentalist, to that particular yogi whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the self, transcendent self. Here, an upamana or an example has been given by Krishna, and Krishna says this is the example which has been given and said by the realized sages. So Krishna compares a lamp to the self, to Atma, and wind that refers to the mind, especially an uncontrolled mind. The illuminating light of the lamp refers to the jnana of the Atma, the knowledge of the Atma. When the lamp is affected by the wind, then it flickers. When it flickers, we will not be able to make use of it. We won't be able to read what we have in front of us when the lamp is flickering, or we won't be able to see things in the room properly. It gets disturbed. Our vision gets disturbed. Likewise, when the mind is affected by the desires of material pleasures, one's Atmajnana get affected and disturbed and will not be able to focus on the Atma. Whereas, if a lamp is situated in a windless place, will have its flame steady, illuminating. Likewise, the self of yogi whose mind is turned away from the worldly matters and is focused on the self alone will shine forth with steadfast, and the knowledge illuminates. For such person, the meditation will be steady and able to focus on the self. Yada viniyatam chittam Atmanyeva vatistate Nishpraha sarvakamebhyo Yukta ityuchyate tada Yata deepo nivatasto Ingate sopama smrita Yogino yata chittasya Unjato yogamatmanaha. Namaste. Hare Krishna.